What really convinced me of the efficiency of EFT was the first time I really used it. It was the summer 2 years ago. I had been reading the method and tapping without success because I hadn't understood at that time that it's necessary to tap on very specific events or specific emotions. I was way too broad. And one day I was making soap, because soap making is one of my jobs, and an accident happened. Lye just exploded in my face and jumped at me. And even though I was wearing glasses which protected my eyes, the rest of my face, well, half my face, this half, from the hairline to the chin on the right side, was burned. A second-degree burn with lye is very serious, especially in the face. And so I went to the closest pharmacy. Well, no, better than that. I had the reflex to have vinegar close to me, so I neutralized the lye as soon as the accident happened. But then I went to the closest pharmacy and the closest clinic, and they took care of my wound. And I remember that on the way to the clinic, I was sitting in the taxi, and I figured that I might as well give it a shot, and I tapped on all the points that were available to me, which mean the left half of my face and the chest, and within 10 minutes the pain and the panic completely vanished and never came back, which means that when I came to the clinic I was absolutely feeling no kind of pain whatsoever. I still had the feeling and the wound. You could touch it, it wouldn't hurt me, but I could feel it, which means that no nerve ending were damaged. And at first I assumed that the pharmacist had used some kind of painkiller in the cream that he lathered on my face. It wasn't the case. When I came back to the pharmacist, he told me it was nothing like that. It was a regular ointment. So here we go. I went from total panic, crying, being totally upset, thinking that I was going to be disfigured for the rest of my life, being in very acute pain because my skin was peeling from the burn, and it was terrible looking. Fortunately, there's no picture of that period, no proof to show that I was disfigured. And so I went from that state of total panic and extreme pain to absolute calm and no pain at all in 10 minutes. One of the cases in which EFT is most impressive is phobias. It can cure major phobias in sometimes minutes. That's what we call one minute miracle. Sometimes it takes more persistence because a phobia can have different aspects and different layers, and they need to be addressed one by one. But I remember one day, it was one of my first attempts to treat someone else. A friend of mine had been afraid all her life, which means more than 40 years, of worms. It was quite a problem for her as she was not living in a city. She had a garden, she was living near woods, and walking outdoors when it was raining was impossible. And her husband kept making fun of her, and she dearly wished that she could garden and take care of the land around her house, but she couldn't. Too many worms. I tapped 5 minutes, and she was never afraid after that of worms. She keeps updating me regularly, so I know that the phobia didn't come back. Now she has a blooming garden because the spring is coming, and she's really happy.